Hey guys, what's going on? Today I thought I would give my personal opinion on the best VR games to play as of the end of 2024. I'm ranking games that I have personally played and enjoy, but if you guys have some suggestions for a different game, just let me know and I'd be happy to try it out and maybe I'd update the video. But without further ado, let's get going into the tier list. Starting off with number 10, I'm gonna have to probably give it to Beat Saber. I feel like anyone who has touched VR knows what Beat Saber is, but if you don't, it's a rhythm game with an active twist. The setup is similar to other music games such as Audiosurf, Guitar Hero, and Rock Band, but instead of controlling a virtual ship or using fake instruments, you slash your way through a song with virtual laser swords. As the music plays, Beat Saber generates patterns of color-coded blocks that you must hit with your right or left controller as they slide toward you. Obstacles also appear that require you to duck or slide away. If you love music and motion, Beat Saber is definitely worth exploring. But just bear in mind, however, that Beat Saber is not a game that you can play while sitting down. It's a very active experience. So prepare to energetically slice music blocks while you jam to the beat. At number 9, I have I Expect You to Die 1 and 2. I always love a good logic puzzle game, and I Expect You to Die 1 and 2 ups the stakes by dropping you into a world of spies and villains, where your only means of survival are your wits. You play it as a spy who must escape a series of life-threatening situations before time runs out. At your disposal are your wits, problem-solving skills, and telekinesis. So grab whatever you find in your surroundings. It just might save your life. If you're a fan of escape rooms, spy flicks, or solving puzzles, this is a VR game for you. It's a relatively short game, but the high stakes and open-ended challenges keep you thoroughly engaged. For number 8, I actually have Minecraft VR. I know it sounds odd for Minecraft to be a part of a VR video, but Minecraft VR is a whole other level of fun. For the uninitiated, Minecraft is an exploration, creation, and survival game all rolled up into one with a distinct low-poly aesthetic. The game adds a series of control enhancements for the VR platform, including 3D audio, a virtual living room mode, VR turning, and VR controls. Minecraft VR has a multiplayer mode also, so you're able to enjoy the experience with your friends. Minecraft VR is perfect for people already addicted to the game's beloved mining and crafting loop. The VR enhancements make Minecraft more immersive, offering a fresh new way to play the game. This alone may not compel new players to dive in, however, as the core gameplay remains the same. At number 7, I have The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim VR Edition. If you have never heard of the game Skyrim, I would go buy a lottery ticket because I have never not heard about how good Skyrim is. But if you don't know how Skyrim VR works, in this RPG, you travel the lands of Skyrim, interact with NPCs, and equip your character with weapons, armor, and spells. Ultimately, you are tasked with defeating Uldian, the world-eating dragon, but you can also spend your time goofing off, exploring, and completing side quests for townspeople. Even if you have already completed the game on another platform, Skyrim VR Edition should keep you tied over until Elder Scrolls VI, whenever that ends up coming out. This one's for RPGs fans. Skyrim is a beefy game, making it an expensive and mechanically rich title you can play in a virtual reality. VR games tend to be fairly short, but this is not the case with Skyrim, which is essentially as long as you want it to be, depending on how you customize your character and play the game. At number 6, I actually am going to go with Rec Room. Everyone has their opinion on Rec Room. It's either a childish game that can get boring pretty fast, or it's a wonderful way to hang out with friends and play games with them. Rec Room is a game where your imagination is pretty much the limit. You can play any custom map that someone made with your friends or some random people if you want. Or you can also just go hang out in the homeroom area and chat it up with some nice people. But always seems like there's something for you to do in Rec Room. Rec Room is perfect for people who want to play a goofy kind of game with their friends. The nice thing about Rec Room is you actually don't even need a VR headset to play it, but it's definitely for people who want to be able to just chill and hang out with friends and do whatever. At number 5, I'm going to have to go with Half-Life Alyx. Alex, however you say that. It's not Half-Life 3 or Half-Life 2, Episode 3, but Half-Life Alyx is the first full-fledged Half-Life game that Valve has released in a long time. The game's events take place after the original Half-Life, but before Half-Life 2. As the title suggests, you play as your fan favorite character, Alyx Vance. Throughout the roughly 11-hour campaign, you take on enemy combined forces and research their weaknesses. Valve built this experience specifically for VR, so expect impressive physics, mechanics, and top-tier graphics. Fans potentially waiting for Half-Life 3 can enjoy this excellent VR romp through the universe. The storytelling, combat, and visuals are all top-notch, making Alyx a must-own VR game for anyone itching for Half-Life action. At number 4, I'm going to have to go with probably one of the most popular VR games, Blade and Sorcery. I'm a big suck-up when it comes to anything medieval. I feel like I can't do anything without thinking about it. Blade and Sorcery combines great physics with intuitive action to give each of your swings heft and feedback without feeling too restrictive or realistic. Add to that telekinetic ability to summon weapons to you, blast rubble with cannon-like force, or shooting lightnings from your hands. And you have a thrilling, hilarious, and utterly satisfying combat simulator to enjoy in VR. The game features extensive mod support that keep things feeling fresh. This is the Action Lovers VR game. The brutal VR combat is as therapeutic as it is unhinged. You essentially play as a magic-toting psychopath, capable of wielding a robust selection of weapons and magic to maim and murder any hopeless warriors unlucky enough to cross your path. Starting off the top 3, I'm going to have to go with Ghost of Tabor. I feel like Ghost of Tabor is one of those games that make you really think about your actions in a game. For people who have never played Ghost of Tabor, it's an extraction shooter that takes place on the island of Tabor. Pretty sure it's not a real place. Ghost of Tabor can pretty much drop you into the world and say good luck. But the best thing about it is the fact that since it's a looter shooter, you could technically play it from wipe to wipe, since you always have a chance of losing all your shit and having to start the grind all over again. This kind of game is definitely for people who like to grind for their own success, but are also not afraid of possibly losing that success. The game can always have a different outcome since you never know what is going to happen in the match. For number 2, I'm going to have to go with Phasmophobia. Now, I just gotta say that Phasmophobia has a special place in my heart. I have a lot of good and chaotic memories with this game. Phasmophobia is a horror style game that can have a lot of different outcomes. I've had successful missions, but I've also had missions where me and my friends are shitting our pants because of what is happening. It's also a nice game because it has a detective vibe that go along with it, which can be fun since it makes you actually have to do multiple things that can either get you killed or let you finish the mission. Phasmophobia is definitely a game for people who love horror. There is definitely a lot of VR horror games, but when I think of a horror game, I definitely think of Phasmophobia. And plus, it is a game that always becomes way more hilarious just by playing it with you and your friends. Now, for number 1, I'm going to go with The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Now, I know that this is not one of the newest games that have came out for VR, but I think it's the best game that I have played in VR. I'm not kidding, I downloaded it and finished it within the same day. That's how much I like this game. But if you haven't heard of this game, it's pretty much a zombie game, but with the fact that you need to actually find supplies throughout each area to survive. It's definitely a bit scary at times, but what makes up for it is how the game works. For starters, it's the style that the game is. It's like a cartoony comic book style, but it's also how much is in the game. From friending people to working on upgrades to even just killing walkers, it's definitely a game that will have you hooked once you start playing it. This game is definitely for people who like exploring things and having to loot stuff. It definitely feels and seems like a lot once you start, but once you get going, it's really not that bad. I just want to say I do have some honorable mentions. I feel like these games are good, but I didn't feel like I wanted to put them on this list. I was going to say that Assassin's Creed Nexus is definitely a really fun game that'll have you doing stuff. Drunken Bar Fight Simulator, that game is a whole lot, but man, that game is really fun. Just watch your surroundings, because I have put a few holes in my walls because of that game. And then the last one is just Job Simulator. It's a pretty basic game, but the game is honestly really fun. I felt really engaged throughout the whole thing, and I honestly didn't feel bored once. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do let me know if there is any game I should try out, and maybe I'll update the tier list. But anyways, guys, please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.